You're listening to Shoe In, covering the ins and outs of all things footwear, from sneakers to heels, loafers to slippers, and every type of shoe in between. Brought to you by the FDRA, the Footwear Industries Association focused on retail, trade, politics, and fashion, helping create and enhance conversations on all things footwear.
You know, Sandy, one of my favorite companies in all footwear land is Wolverine Worldwide. And the reason is, one, they're just good people. And I've over the last 14 years, have just built really strong relationships with just about everyone at Wolverine. But also, they just have a stable of brands that covers every single point within our industry, whether it's active, athletic, Merrell, Saucony, it's casual or boating or fashion and Sperry and Hush Puppies. It's work. I mean, you name it, Wolverine's got it. And so that's one of the beauties of the company itself, the people and the product. And so today we have a really important person within the Wolverine family is joining us. And I want you to help me introduce her because I have a lot of questions for her, as I know you do. And so who do we have on Shoe and Show today?
Absolutely. Today we have Katherine Cousins, president of Lifestyle Group at Wolverine Worldwide, which encompasses Keds, Sperry, and now Hush Puppies. So that's a new role for you, Katherine. Welcome and congratulations on that new role.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
We're really excited to have you on today. And we're going to start out by asking a really simple and fun question about your shoe story. How did you enter the footwear market? Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got here.
Awesome. So I actually started out my career in footwear world at Timberland back in 2005. So Timberland was a standalone company. I was attracted to its values story. We talked a lot about doing well and doing good and commerce and justice. And the values of that brand stood out to me as a great place to build my career. Very exciting and innovative from a business model perspective. And that actually turned out to be true. I spent the next almost 17 years at Timberland and then VF. VF acquired Timberland in 2011. And so have had a great run in footwear and then came over to Wolverine in 2021 in June, where I started at Sperry. And it's been amazing ever since.
When they give you the keys to Sperry, it's such an iconic brand, Katherine. It is just one of those. It's up there in my mind with like the Chuck Taylor or a pair of Vans, right? There's just these iconic shoes that American culture always kind of gravitates towards. When you're handed the keys to a brand like that and you come in, what are some of the things that you decide you want to do, innovative wise? And what are some of the things, just because of the culture, the nature of the brand and where it sits in kind of the hearts of American and global consumers that you don't want to quite touch? You want to make sure that you maintain. And how do you balance kind of new and classic and those two things coming together?
One of the things that attracted me to Sperry was, of course, its heritage. Started in 1935. You were referencing the iconic boat shoe, the authentic original. It has a story that's built on innovation, solving problems, and then turned into a more of a fashion brand over the last 86, 87 years. And that, to me, that heritage, you can't buy that. That is tremendously valuable. And so for us, we're really thinking about how do we balance and highlight, embrace that heritage, while at the same time becoming more relevant for today's consumer, making sure that we're innovating both from a style and a functionality perspective. But we absolutely want to celebrate that heritage because, again, it's so unique. And not that many brands in our space go back to 1935. It's really, really impressive.
That's great. You have that story with Sperry. You still have a similar story with Keds too, right? Another classic brand, rich in heritage, means the world to both young and older women. You really cross the threshold there. Really, really wide opportunity. And now with Hush Puppies as well, like really three great classic heritage brands that have a lot of room for growth. Talk to us a little bit about some of the fun and fresh collabs that you have going on. I was watching really closely with what you've done with Sperry, and I thought some of them were really interesting and cool and a little bit out of the box. Tell us a little bit about those collabs.
It's funny that the group could almost be called the heritage group because, as you say, these brands. I mean, Hush Puppies goes back to the 50s, Keds goes back to 1910, and then of course Sperry in 1935. But these brands, heritage was one thing. You have to stay relevant, and one of the things that we're doing from a strategic standpoint is partnering with different brands and retailers, some media outlets, in order to stay relevant, to showcase the brands in perhaps new lights, to bring fresh eyes and work together with amazing designers in different spaces who can help us think through or interpret our icons in different ways. And so just to give a couple of examples, we last year we did a really great collab, or over the summer, with Jaws for the Jaws relaunch. Of course, I'm old enough to remember when it was in the theaters, but I know a lot of young people were rediscovering the Jaws franchise for the first time this summer, and Sperry had this amazing 4 SKU pack of Jaws specific footwear, which sold out, which were great and really showcased us, of course, in a new light. And then coming up, we also have some really incredible Spring 23 collabs in the pipeline. So Brooks Brothers, which seems like the icon of preppy Americana, of course, from an apparel standpoint. So you absolutely need Sperry footwear to go along with your new Brooks Brothers Spring 23 look. Michael Bastian has been doing an amazing job. And so we were super excited to work with him. And then we have interesting collabs around sort of a streetwear meets preppy concepts, pleasures. We're working with Amazon Prime on the second season of The Summer I Turned Pretty. If you've seen the first season, the second season is coming out in the spring, and we're going to have some specific product for that launch. And then if you haven't seen it, it's in market right now, is our collab with Rowing Blazers. Of course, the icon of preppy cool, and they have really celebrated that warm and wonderful sweater that Princess Diana used to wear with all the little white sheep. And then she's got one black sheep on them. And so we created a collection of footwear to go along with that. And it's really, really doing well. And it's fun and it's irreverent. And it also celebrates the heritage of a great leader and icon in her own right, Princess Diana.
Yeah, those are some amazing collabs. The Brooks Brother one obviously speaks to me. I'm a big fan of the brand itself, as well as Sperry. So that seems to be a natural kind of match made in heaven. I want to talk about Hush Puppies because what I think a lot of American consumers don't realize is Hush Puppies is such a dominant global brand. Anytime you travel overseas, Asia, South America, Central America, Europe, you see Hush Puppies everywhere. And
True.
Educate our listeners about the global impact that is Hush Puppies and how that coming into your portfolio. What are some of your plans for Hush Puppies going forward?
So Hush Puppies, you're absolutely right. The Hush Puppies footprint globally is incredible. If I asked you to guess how many stores there are around the world, I bet you would come in under. It's 650 stores for Hush Puppies around the world. It's incredible. Wow. Not a lot of brands can say that they have that many doors. And so in the US, what we've been doing is partnering with DSW. So they're our exclusive partner in the US for the Hush Puppies brand. And we're really trying to bring that brand back to life in partnership with DSW, who's an amazing partner and very strategic, doing incredibly well, and have been a great partner throughout. And so bringing it back to life in the US, because you're right, around the world, it's been chugging along, doing really, really well. But we sort of had a period of backtracking, I would say, in the US. And now we have the opportunity with DSWs to really bring it back to its former glory.
That's a great partnership. I love that idea. And I want to hear a little bit more about what's happening on the Keds front. I'm a big fan personally. I have a daughter that's in college that loves Keds as well. I'd love to hear about some of your plans for expansion and new categories. I like what you've done with Rifle. I mean, I think you've kept it pretty fresh and cool and fun. And that's a little bit more of a playful brand, right? So talk to us a little bit about your strategy and thoughts there.
Absolutely. So it's funny. When I first started getting to know Keds again in my professional capacity, I kept thinking about that iconic scene in Dirty Dancing when Jennifer Grey is wearing her Keds and how amazing. And it was such a part of many people of my generations growing up, and it was so iconic. And we have that opportunity again to sort of bring that back and reintroduce it to a new generation. And our product team is amazing. So we have new leaders within the leadership, but also within the product team, are bringing that freshness through collabs with Maisie Willens. We partnered with Joseph Altazara during New York Fashion Week on the runway, really becoming that more fashion relevant partner. But similar to Hush Puppies, working with partners like a DSW to bring that, to reintroduce Keds and its new styles to the US market is really, really important. And we have so many fresh new styles coming out in spring 23. What we've introduced in fall 22 has been doing really, really well. So we're really happy.
That's awesome. I mean, Dirty Dancing is like the soundtrack is on loop in my house with 3 teenage daughters and my wife. We've made the trip out to the mountains of Western North Carolina to see where baby did her dance and all that stuff. So that is like embedded. Keds are embedded into my home as well. And so, I mean, I'm tracking exactly what you're talking about, Katherine. This is dropping in the middle of Market Week. We manage Market Week in New York, the FFANY Market Week. Talk to us about what your expectations are for Market Week. And then as you head into 23, you've mentioned a lot of the collabs and the partnerships. Those are critically important. But from a business perspective, what are you expecting from Market Week here in the States now in November, as well as heading into 23?
Yeah, it's funny. I think of FFANY as the footwear prom. I love going to FFANY. It's so much fun. You get to see all of your friends at different customers and the salespeople, all the new products out, all the marketing. So it does feel like it's this like coming out moment for all the brands to talk about their stories. It's really fun. I find it very invigorating. So we're excited to show that fall 23 assortment that we've got and all the marketing assets that we have. So we have already a packed calendar of appointments in the showroom and in New York, and looking forward to celebrating. Merrill is going to be celebrated on that Wednesday with Footwear News, and really exciting for Wolverine worldwide in total. As we think about the market and sort of the economic climate, I'm hopeful that we start to turn the corner on, obviously it's been a tough fall with inflation and so on affecting our consumers. And so I'm hopeful that we'll start to turn the corner in 2023, work through some of the supply chain issues once and for all, really get that great new product and marketing on shelf, on foot, and in front of our consumers in a really great way. So FFANY to me it's sort of like the shotgun, if you will. It's the starting point of everyone going out of the gates, and we're super excited about it.
That's great. We're really looking forward to that too. And FDRA is a proud sponsor of the Footwear News Achievement Awards. And of course, I'm a super fan of Footwear News and all of the hard work that they do. So I'm glad for the recognition that they're shining on Wolverine. And I look forward to seeing you there. As we head into holiday season, tell us a little bit about what you're doing to celebrate Thanksgiving or the holidays at the end of the year. Tell us a little bit about your personal celebrations.
Oh, great. Actually, my family and I are headed to San Diego. A good Sperry leader likes to be by the water and experience the joy of the water and to reset and recharge with my family. So really looking forward to that. And we have the entire Cousins crew collecting in San Diego for that. So I'm really looking forward to taking a breath, and then I'll fly direct from San Diego to New York to start the exciting week of FFANY.
That's awesome. Yeah, that sounds like great plans. And it seems as a requirement to be in San Diego as the leader of Sperry. What are some other iconic cities? I live near Annapolis, and it's like there's probably more Sperry per capita in Annapolis than most places. So what are some of the other key markets for your brands as you think about not just Sperry, but Keds and Hush Puppies?
Yeah, for sure. So from a Sperry perspective, we always think about the water, but there's lots of places for for consumers and folks to find their experience and the joy of the water, whether it's a lake or a river, or even just the mindset of being on vacation. We think about that a lot with Sperry, is that vacation mindset. So whether you're wearing your saltwater boots and you're at a fire with your friends or at a tailgate, you have that Sperry joy. So certainly for us, the water, but of course also just being outside and being with friends and family. Those are Sperry places, if you will. And from a Keds perspective, it's you could really be anywhere. It's about expressing your personal style. So less about a place and more about a mindset. And then Hush Puppies, it's comfort. And that Basset Hound is just the cutest thing. And thinking about the joy, the living life on the bright side, and that Basset Hound brings that to life in Hush Puppies. So again, less about a place and more about just a mindset with Hush Puppies.
Is there an official Basset Hound that kind of roams the halls at headquarters with you guys, or have you not gotten to that point yet?
I mean, I've only been here a week in this role, so there's room for me to make some change. But we just had our global brand conference. So with our Asia partners, because we have a very big Asia business for Hush Puppies. And we have a new amazing global store design that the team in Rockford developed for all partners around the world. And so they were showing the launch parties in the Philippines, and they literally had a Basset Hound wandering around. And I thought that's a win. I mean, who doesn't love a puppy, right? So that's just a win.
Everybody
Right?
loves puppies. That's so true.
So yes, love the Basset Hound. And Hush Puppies is launching some apparel capsules as it becomes more lifestyle, more head to toe in 2023. And it's got this cute little Basset Hound logo. It's amazing. They've done such a nice job.
That's cool. Another iconic as a kid, just Hush Puppies were everywhere. And everyone I didn't do this, but they would curl their laces. Like they wouldn't tie the shoes. I don't even know. Is there a technical phrase for that? They would like wind the laces up so they were curlicued. Is that, you know what I'm talking about?
I do indeed. It's a barrel lace. Yes. It's in order to get the job at Sperry, I had to quickly do a barrel lace, and they said, "Okay, fine."
That's how you weed out all the other talent. Just if they can't do that, they're not in, right?
Exactly.
That's hilarious. My last question, and then Sandy, you can throw in any that you have left, is, Katherine, we're having this conversation a year from now. What's success look like a year into the role for you, as you look back at the end of 23 and you say, okay, we were successful because we did X, Y, and Z. What's X, Y, and Z for you?
I think for all three brands, it's about recruiting new consumers to the brand and reintroducing these amazing heritage, but totally modern and relevant brands to a new generation of consumers. So that's one. Two, it's about returning them to their former glory in terms of both growth and profit as well. So making some tough choices in order to move these brands forward. And finally, it's really just celebrating their heritage in a way that is super modern and super relevant to our consumer bases.
That's awesome. Well, Sandy, you got anything else before we clear out?
No, I mean, that sounds exciting. And we're behind you. So thank you for coming on and sharing your story, and congratulations again on acquiring a new brand to your group. We're excited to see, where you take these brands, and we will see you soon in New York during FFANY Market Week.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I look forward to seeing you guys in New York.
That's awesome. Thank you, Katherine, and thanks, Sandy. And thanks to our listeners. This has been another exciting edition of Shoe and Show. You can go to shoeandshow.com to access all of our many, many hundreds of episodes at this point with leaders like Katherine who are making a difference in the industry, have a creative and fresh new outlook on heritage, right? And so this is just one example of the amazing leaders that are in our industry and are providing their insights to you as an industry via Shoe and Show. Hit up shoeandshow.com, subscribe, rate us, do all those things that help spread the word for this podcast now in its 7th year, which is hard to believe. And so we appreciate your listenership. We appreciate you joining us. And until next time, Shoe and Show is out.
Shoe In has been brought to you by the FDRA, the Footwear Industries Association focused on retail, trade, politics, and fashion, helping create and enhance conversations on all things footwear. For information about FDRA, visit fdra.org.